Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and we are fresh 10 seconds off of the Orioles game that just ended literally 10 seconds ago. Wanted to hop on here and record this episode. It is pretty late. Obviously, it was a late start time for a lot of people because this game was played in California, in Sacramento. So a pretty late start time for a lot of people, including me. But we're coming at y'all with the episode right now. The game literally just ended. Fresh post-game reactions. Unfortunately, the Orioles did lose this game, and that means that the winning streak is now officially over. The winning streak stops at 6 games, and the Orioles have lost this game today. A very heartbreaking game. A game that was extremely winnable and was looking very good really early on for the Orioles. But, Dean Kramer struggled in this game, gave up all 5 of the runs that the Athletics scored in this game. And the Orioles were put up 4 runs. The Orioles lost this game 5-4. Another one-run game, another really close game. Much like the past 2 games where the Orioles were down late in the innings and were able to come back and win by 1 run the past 2 games, the Orioles lose this game today by 1 run. So, again, this game felt very similar to the past 2 games, except the Orioles were not actually able to come back late in the game today, even though they had a lot of opportunities and a lot of chances to get into this game, but they just could not take advantage of the opportunities that they had to score late in this game. The offense early on was doing great. Dylan Carlson hit a 2-run homer. Ramon Laureano made his return back to the lineup today, and he was batting third, and he got a sac fly. And then Jackson Holliday had a solo home run to tie the game up 4-4, and then eventually the Athletics took a 5-4 lead, and then the score stayed the same the rest of the game. Mason Miller came into the game in the 8th inning and the 9th inning, and got the save in the 9th, but also came out in the 8th inning as well. Got through 1.2 innings in this game, Mason Miller did, and he went out there and pretty much just shut the Orioles down completely. He had 3 strikeouts, and we looked lost against Mason Miller. It was a lot of our players' first time playing against Mason Miller, and obviously it is a very uncomfortable at-bat whenever you're facing Mason Miller, especially for the first time. He went out there, shut down this game for them, but the bullpen for the Orioles did great today. Obviously, Dean Kramer did struggle in this game and did let up all 5 runs that the Athletics scored in this game. But the offense just couldn't do enough. They missed on a lot of opportunities, and that was really all that really happened. Again, this game was very much within reach. It was a 1-run game. It was very winnable. It was really interesting to see if they had that comeback gimmick in them once again for the 3rd straight game. But unfortunately, the losing streak ends here. The best opportunity that the Orioles had in this game was in the 8th inning with the bases loaded, 1 out. Heston Kjerstad, and then that's when they brought Mason Miller in. Heston Kjerstad had one of the worst at-bats I've ever seen in my life. A 3-pitch strikeout, and then Jackson Holliday went up there and struck out as well with the bases loaded. So those were 2 huge at-bats. Those were 2 at-bats that could have gotten the Orioles not only the tie of the game, but maybe even taking the lead as well. But they just weren't able to pull through with that. So let's just get right into this game. So going over this Orioles game, and literally this game ended like 2 minutes ago. Again, coming fresh off this game, recording this episode for y'all. The Orioles move to a record of 25-37. They are back to being 12 games below 500. They were 11 games below 500 after yesterday's game, but back to being 12 games below 500 today. 25-37, still 101 games left of baseball to be played. So still a lot of time to get back into the season, still a lot of time to get back to being 500. And then, hopefully if they do get back to being 500, hopefully they can maybe make a playoff push. But there still is a lot of work to do. I've said that after, even after all of their wins, that there is a lot of work to do for this team to get back into the season. But the Orioles are in a position where they can't really afford to lose games, and they really can't afford to lose any sort of series. And the series isn't over, obviously. This was only game 1 of the series, so if the Orioles can go out there and win tomorrow and on Sunday, then the Orioles will win this series and take 2 out of 3 games. But now that's the only option to win this series. If the A's win one of the next 2 games, then the Orioles will lose this series. And it's a series that they really should not lose. The A's are statistically, even after this win, they're still like the coldest team in baseball. Going into this game, they lost 20 of their last 22 games, and the Orioles obviously won 8 of their last 10 games. So it was the hottest team in baseball versus the coldest team in baseball, and unfortunately the Orioles as the hottest team in baseball weren't able to capitalize and get the win over the A's. A pretty, I wouldn't say embarrassing loss, but a loss that really stings because with how much the Athletics have been struggling, and with how much the Orioles have been thriving, you really would have liked to see them go in there and just take care of business. And early on in this game, it looked like that's what they were going to do. They were up 3-0 early in this game thanks to a Dylan Carlson homer and a Ramon Laureano sac fly. But then all of a sudden, at the bottom of the third inning, Dean Kramer gave up 4 runs in the bottom of the third. All of a sudden, the Orioles are down 4-3 in this game. Then Jackson Holliday in the top of the 5th inning hits a solo home run to tie the game 4-4. And then just like that, in the bottom of the 5th inning, the A's were able to take the lead and go up 5-4, and then the score remained the same the rest of the way. No scoring happened in the 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th inning in this game. But going over the offense today, player of the game is 100% Jackson Holliday in this game. He continues to have such an incredible season. People are wanting him to possibly be and make the All-Star team, and he very well could do that. He's having an excellent year. The jump that he's had from last year to this year, and with the age that he is at 21, it's incredible what he's doing at the age that he is. And Jackson Holliday really is looking like he's going to be the future of the Baltimore Orioles. And we already knew that. We already knew him, Gunnar, and Adley were the 3 guys that were going to be the future pillars of this team. But Jackson Holliday has really taken off the season. Goes 3 for 5 today with 2 runs scored, an RBI, and a home run. Obviously, the RBI and one of the runs scored was off of the home run. But a 3-hit game for Jackson. Gets a home run in there as well. Averages up to a 268 on the season. He's having a very solid year. That was his 8th homer of the year. It's really cool to see Jackson go out there in his first big league season and go out there and really produce. And giving the keys to a 21-year-old to be the leadoff guy in your lineup is something that very few players can be able to do, but Jackson Holliday has really proved that he deserves that honor. Adley Rutschman was batting second in this game. Obviously, over the past few games, Adley's been fantastic for the Orioles, especially in that Mariners series. But starts off today, doesn't really do anything at all. Goes 0 for 4 with a walk and a strikeout. So gets on base 1 time because of a walk, but does not collect a hit in this game. Ramon Laureano makes his return to the lineup. He came off of IL. That's another injury that's coming back for the Orioles. Obviously, Colton Cowser came back the other day, and now Ramon Laureano is back. And we should be seeing Jordan Westbrook back sometime next week. And we also should be seeing Tyler O'Neill and Cedric Mullins back soon as well. So injuries are starting to come back for the Orioles. Things are starting to obviously look good for them in terms of having a healthy roster. The pitching is going to probably stay the same as it is for a while. I don't really see Grayson or Kyle coming back anytime soon, so the pitching is going to stay the same as it is right now. But in terms of the offense, which obviously is the people that score runs, so it's extremely important. But Ramon Laureano does come back, makes his return to the lineup today, and he bats third in this game, which really surprised me. Ramon Laureano's obviously been out of action for a few weeks now, and comes back and we immediately have him batting third, which was a little questionable by Tony Mansolino, but Ramon Laureano goes 0 for 3 in this game, but he does get a walk and an RBI. That RBI was because of a sac fly in the 3rd inning, and that actually got the Orioles lead up to 3-0 before the A's obviously went back and took the lead back at the bottom of the 3rd. Ryan O'Hearn in this game does not have a great game at all. He had some big opportunities to go out there and put the Orioles ahead, and he just wasn't able to do so. Ryan O'Hearn, over the past 2 games, has really cooled off for sure. Obviously, Ryan O'Hearn was batting around like a 3-3, or I think he was even up to like a 3-4 for a little bit as well for Ryan, but he has really cooled off this season. Not this season, but he's really cooled off over the last few games. He goes 0 for 5 in this game, does not get on base at all, and strikes out once. So Ryan O'Hearn's average is still at a 317. He's obviously still having an excellent season, and he's still having the best season for an Orioles hitter this year. But just not a good game today, not a good stretch of games, and hopefully Ryan O'Hearn can heat back up soon. Ramon Urias in this game goes 2 for 5 with a run scored. Colton Cowser goes 1 for 4 with a that one hit was a double. Kobe Mayo in this game goes 1 for 2 with a double and a walk as well. So Kobe Mayo gets on base 2 times in this game, and the one hit that he had was a double, and it was his first extra base hit in the bigs. So Kobe Mayo recently is going out there and not just going hitless. Like, he's going out there and picking up hits, which at the end of the day is something that you just have to be grateful for, and you just have to you just have to be thankful that he's going out there and at least producing a little bit. So that's good to see from Kobe. Gunnar Henderson came in this game as a pinch hitter. He did not start in this game for some reason. I don't really know why. I guess we just wanted him to rest game 1 and then have him available in games 2 and 3. But he was available off the bench. He did come off the bench, pinch hit for Kobe Mayo. Walked in his only at bat, which was a huge walk as well. But unfortunately, we weren't able to score him in the 8th inning whenever he did have this at-bat. Dylan Carlson in this game goes 1 for 2 with a 2-run homer and also 2 walks. So gets on base 3 times in this game, gets a 2-run homer. That got the scoring started for the Orioles in this game. And this was a big homecoming for Dylan Carlson. I think he did grow up in Sacramento. Obviously, that's where the Athletics play this year because of the whole, Vegas situation and Oakland kicking them out and all that stuff. So Dylan Carlson, a little bit of a homecoming game in Sacramento, goes out there, gets a 2-run home run. Dylan Carlson has put up some incredible at-bats for the Orioles. He's made incredible defensive plays, and he's been playing excellent for this Orioles team. So he's a guy who you kind of want him out there as an everyday player, whether that's left field or right field. He's a guy who can go out there and just produce at a high level, and he's somebody that I really would like to see stay in this lineup even when we get some guys back from injury. Jorge Mateo in this game goes 0 for 3, and then Heston Kjerstad goes 0 for 1 with a strikeout with the bases loaded in the 8th inning. So the offense overall in this game, 8 total hits, got walked 6 times, so they got on base 14 times in this game. But the big problem in this game for the Orioles was the 10 left on base and the 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They had a lot of opportunities late in this game, but they just could not capitalize. Early on in the game, they got the scoring started. Obviously, they scored 4 runs in the first 5 innings, but the A's were able to kind of match that and score 5 runs in the first 4 innings. But in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, the Orioles had opportunities to bring runners in, and they just could not get over the hump. Left a lot of guys in scoring position, left a lot of guys on base, and the Orioles just weren't really able to get over the hump with bringing runners home. This game was very winnable. It was a 1-run game. The bullpen went out there, did their job, kept this game within reach, and the offense just could not get over that little bit of a hump. And again, the game was extremely winnable. They had multiple opportunities to take the lead in this game or at least tie it, and they just could not do that. We've seen that as a big problem for the Orioles this season overall. Even in the wins that they've had, they've gotten very timely and clutch hits, but, sometimes even when they get timely and clutch hits, overall in the game they don't do well with runners in scoring position, but whenever they do get a hit, it's clutch. But in this game, the Orioles were not able to do that, so that is pretty unfortunate. Going over to the pitching in this game, Dean Kramer does get the loss in this game. Obviously, he does let up all the runs that the Athletics scored. Dean Kramer does not have a great game, does not have a good game at all. Goes 5.1 innings, gives up 8 hits and a walk, gives up 5 earned runs, and only has 2 strikeouts. An 82 pitch count across 5.1 innings. ERA's at a 4.98. Not a great game from Dean Kramer. Not like an absolute complete disaster class, but not a good game. 5 runs allowed through 5 innings is nothing you want to see from your starting pitcher. But the bullpen came in and really kept this game in check and kept this game within reach. Yennier Cano, Keegan Aikens, Sir Anthony Dominguez, and Gregory Soto all came into this game and didn't give up a run. And just kept the game within reach for the offense, but they just weren't able to score and tie or take the lead in this game. So overall, it was a really heartbreaking game. Knowing that the past 2 games the Orioles were down late in the game and were able to come back. We're going to see if that gimmick was going to work today, and we're going to see if that was going to happen again today for the Orioles, but unfortunately it does not. The Orioles do lose this game and drop back to being 12 games below 500. And going over to tomorrow's game for the Orioles, starts at the same time, pretty late game as well, but tomorrow's game is going to be 2 guys who are pretty old. Charlie Morton versus Luis Severino. Severino 1-5 with a 4.5 ERA. Not a great season for him. Obviously, Charlie Morton, his stats were 2-7 with a 6.2 ERA. Those stats are, I'm not going to say inflated because he did have some horrible starts to start the year, but Charlie Morton over his past few appearances, whether it's in the bullpen or as a starter, his past 2 games as a starter, he's done great in those starts. So hopefully Charlie Morton can keep up, this little hot streak that he has with pitching, and hopefully he can go out there tomorrow, eat some innings, not give up too many runs, keep this game within check, and hopefully the offense can go out there tomorrow and just get some hits with runners in scoring position and just, do the smart thing, get timely hits, and go out there and win this game. It's been a while since the Orioles offense has really exploded in a game with their offense. I actually want to go back and look at when the last time the Orioles put up double digits in a game was. I'm pretty sure it was it's been a pretty long time since the Orioles put up double digits in a game. The offense hasn't been scorching hot. They've gone out there and been pretty average and below average based on how talented this team is. But again, they are getting a lot of guys back from injury, so things should be getting better with that. So the last time that the Orioles scored double-digit runs in a game was, hold on, Game 1, they scored 12 runs, but since then, when is the last time that they scored 12 runs in a game? Or double-digit runs in a game? I think they've only scored double-digit runs in a game one time this season. And that was the opening game of the season where they beat the Blue Jays 12-2. Is that serious? Are we being serious? No way. Wow. Yeah, I think the only game that the Orioles have scored double digits in was the opening game of the season. So yeah, the Orioles offense hasn't really gone out there and exploded and done their thing and gone crazy and put up insane runs. But that would be really cool to go out there and see that tomorrow. Obviously, Luis Severino is probably their best starting pitcher. Came from the Mets last year, had a great year with the Mets. Obviously, they went far in the playoffs, but it would be nice to see the Orioles offense go out there and put up a performance that we all know that they're capable of with the talent that they have. And hopefully Charlie Morton can go out there, eat innings, keep the game within check, and not let the game get too far out of hand. But thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow up on Spotify, and click the link in the bios of both of them to follow the socials, my Twitter and Instagram pages as well, where I keep updates on whatever's going on with the games, be live tweeting the games, talking about updates for when episodes are coming out and all of that stuff. But again, thank you guys so much for all the support that you have shown me throughout this series. This is episode 59. Tomorrow will be episode 60 of this show. And this really is a dream come true. I'm having a ton of fun doing this. I love talking Ravens. I love talking Orioles. And it's going to be a long podcast, obviously. I expected for this podcast to go on for a very long time, but this really is just the beginning. Production and everything like that is going to keep getting better and better over time. So I appreciate you for whoever's sticking with me throughout this process. I promise it will be worth it in the end. Unfortunately, the Orioles do lose today. Hopefully they can go out there tomorrow and get a big win. But again, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather, your daily Baltimore sports podcast. I'll have an episode up sometime tomorrow night around probably the same time right now. I'll probably post an episode right after the Orioles game finishes tomorrow. And I'll see you guys in the next one. You have a great rest of y'all's day. Hope to see you all in the next one. Peace out.